So in this video I'm going to be making 6 round windows or half circle windows and going through the whole process, seeing which bits were the most difficult and seeing what went wrong and how I fixed it. So I usually start out with some digital plans, kind of makes things a little bit easier. That way I can see the joinery all lines up before I do it. And most of the round window is actually cut with a router, just like this. So yeah, actually all the round sections I can do at home in my workshop. And for the straight sections in the joinery, then I go to a workshop that I rent. So at one point in the video we're going to jump to this workshop kind of abruptly. So yeah, now that's the outer frame cut, or the outer part of the outer frame. Now I'm cutting the inner part of the outer frame. So you don't actually have to secure the final piece to the table, because as you can see here, it really gets held in by all the sawdust as you're cutting. So it's actually quite difficult to take out. Anyone who's worked with a router knows how much mess they make and how difficult it is to use the vacuum on the router. So now I'm doing the beading. So the beading is really the most difficult part of the window, and actually I did it this way in segments, but I don't think I would do it that way in future. I'm just used to doing segmented, curved beading because that's how I do it for round windows. It makes sense for that, but for the half moon windows, maybe it would be better a different way. So now I find out the size of the beading diameter from the frame, and now I can cut them. That was nice, it fit perfectly, so I did a happy walk. That's my happy walk. So this bit's always a bit scary, always has me on edge, because there's really weak butt joints. Obviously there's just tiny pieces, tiny connections to each segment. So you really have to be careful with this part until it's biscuit jointed, which I'm doing now. Then it's not that strong, but after the biscuit joints it's really strong. So when I was planning this window, as I often do before a new commission, I'll kind of try and go through all the steps in my head. And yeah, of course that ends up leading to what steps are going to go wrong, start to stress a little bit, start to worry a little bit. And yeah, actually every part of the process that I thought might go wrong didn't go wrong. So here I am going to cut the circle in half. So first of all I need to draw around the circle, then draw 3 equal sized lines along the edge, cut those lines in half here, which is what I'm doing. Measure the line, measure halfway through the line, then use a square, draw a line all the way to the middle, and then you'll find your center point of the circle. Once you've got your center point, you can use a ruler to draw a straight line straight through at any point. And then with that, yeah, I can mark on each round frame exactly halfway and use those marks to cut them in half. I feel like there's probably a much better way of doing this, but this was kind of all I had. Tracksaw would be nice on this. I was trying to hold the 2 pieces But yeah, they came out nice. They sat flat on a table. Give me a like for that. So here's the beading. The source of most of the problems in this commission. So 3 round beads for 6 half moon windows. So yeah, now they have the biscuit joints and they're really strong. As you can see, the bead fits perfectly inside the frame, but not for long. So the issue I had, I've never made a half moon window before, so after I've cut these beadings, they stay in their circle form and then they shrink in a circle still. But having cut them in half, I realised that they don't shrink in a perfectly evenly. So as you can see here, they've all separated from the frame. So they used to fit perfectly in there. Now there's a good 1 centimetre or 1/1000th of a football pitch gap there. And yeah, so I have to figure out a way to fix that. So first thing I thought to do was to put clamps on them. Then I realised I'm taking them to a workshop the next day. So yeah, here I am clamping them. Yeah, I realised I'm taking them to a workshop the next day, so I have to take them in the van. So it'd be easier to transport them with masking tape like this. So I taped up 3 of them. And then actually, with the other 3, which are spares, I put them in the bath to soak. And actually, when I took them out of the bath, it was actually around an hour and a half later. And put them into the frame, they fit almost perfectly. So they kind of swelled back up to their original size. But yeah, this was the next mistake that I made. I clamped them in. And I guess as they dried out, they really started to pull apart.
Can I help you? Can I use this one?
So you go like this and screw it the other way.
Why I can make a strong?
So yeah, I'm taking the clamps off the next day from these ones that I soaked. And I spot a gap between the beading, so I thought it was game over for these beads, the 3 that I'd soaked, but as we'll see a bit later, they all just seemed to fix themselves, which was quite nice. But yeah, there's a bit of a gap there, so it's being held together by the biscuit joint. Yeah, I really thought it was all over, but had to move on. Next day I was at the workshop doing the straight sections and the joinery, as you can see here. So I'm cutting the rebate for the glass from the straight section here. And then all the joinery, the mortise and the tenons. So yeah, this sliding table saw was really cool for doing the mortises. No, the tenons on the curved sections. So all this joinery and stuff I probably could have done at home, but I rent this workshop for a day, and because I'm doing 6 identical windows, I set up the tool, and then yeah, it's all really quick, so it was worth spending a bit of money and using the workshop tools available, including his chisels and planes from my teacher. because mine don't work because they're blunt. So yeah, I didn't account for the curve in the joinery, so I had to knock out this part from the straight section in order that they fit together nicely underneath in a part where you would never see, but yeah, so the ones on the right are done. Now to the beading. So yeah, the beading actually just fixed itself. It was weird. After 2 days, they kind of all seemed to equalize and bend back to their original positions. So even the ones that soaked and separated a little bit kind of went back together. So that was kind of how the beading thing resolved itself, and it was quite nice. So yeah, cut all the beading, went back home, glued it all together. So on the final stretch, the last bit, when everything's all done, it's all fine. You can relax. Just got to glue it up, do all the finishing touches. And yeah, having done 6 rather than... I'd sold 3, so I made 6 just because it was, you know... I knew at least one would go wrong. So yeah, having the 6 and being able to choose the 3 best to send to the client was really nice. It was relaxing. Didn't have to have any stress or worry about messing something up at the end and having to start one of them again from scratch. And there it is, finished. Give me a like and subscribe if you got this far and you enjoyed it. And I'll make some more videos of me trying to make round windows.